How's it going, man?
Uh,
Gren?
Hello, it's me. In this video, we'll be looking at the top 5 worst boss followers in Legends of Runeterra. What is a boss follower, you may ask? In this ranking, it is any follower that needs 8 to 10 mana to be summoned. I won't be counting the units that discount themselves as well. There are followers that are considered boss monsters that don't need that much mana. For example, Karina Mastermind, but that's for another video. All of you seem to like my last top 5, so we are continuing the series. Let me know what top 5 you want to see next. I'm Krinbits, and let's get started. Starting off with number 5, Kayn the Infernal, a 9-cost dragon in Demacia. As much as we like to crap on this unit, there are much worse units than this dragon. Like other boss monsters, if you have them in your starting hand, that is just a brick until endgame. And honestly, you would rather have a Screeching Dragon instead of a copy of Kayn, because Screeching Dragon can pick off weaker units with Challenger. Kayn can be chump blocked by anything. But one good thing about Kayn is that once you summon him, you activate his effect, which can't be denied. Sure, it's a bad effect that won't win games, but if you summon Kayn, it's done its job. Also, a 9/9 Fairy Body on the board is fairly okay. That's why Kayn is number 5. And then number 4 is Zinnia Steel Crescendo. Aurelia, or more specifically, Azir Aurelia, does not really have a spot for a big boss unit, who is not even that big. A free 5 elusive 8-cost unit is just lacking. You could blade dance a couple of times, but if your opponent has a quicksand or a sharp sight, Zinnia won't have the power to survive a late game block. At most, you could do a few elusive hits, but this late into the game, you would probably want to instead have some 1,000 tails to replenish your hand. Blade Dance decks likes their damage to go wide. Zinnia narrows the damage down to 1 unit, and Azir Aurelia already has a good elusive attacker. Green Glade Duo can be summoned on curve and do more damage than Zinnia. Number 3 is Sanctum Conservator, who is an 8-cost unit with a nearly impossible requirement for a decent effect. If you slay 13 or more units in a game, you summon another copy of Sanctum, and you slay all of your enemy's followers. Not champions or landmarks, just followers. 13 slaying units does seem doable if you slay on average 2 units every turn, which you do with a Kindred Nasus deck, but most of the time you don't meet the requirements. And if you did slay 13 units, why not just run Nasus, who is 6 mana, and then Atrocity the Nexus for 14 damage? Having another big unit along with Nasus, Ruination, and Atrocity all in the same deck just screams bricking. And for such a hard requirement, why doesn't it target champions as well? I hate that this card isn't good because I love the artwork and the idea behind it. But that's why Sanctum Conservator is number 3. When we're living in a meta where Homecoming is a staple in Ionia, Vengeance is always around the corner, and decks are always ending games before round 8, summoning a 10-cost unit better win the game right when they're summoned. Number 2 is Atakan. Atakan could end games, since even with 1 Trifarian Glory Seeker, Atakan can bring your opponent's Nexus health down to decimate range, but the problem is that your opponent can respond when you summon the card, and you won't have the mana to stop the response because all of that mana went into Atakan. Bastion takes 4 mana, denies 4 mana, and all you can really do is a Notify, which is not enough for late game spells. You could bait out any removals with weaker units, but passing with 10 mana is very punishable. While the card can win you games, 10 mana is just too much for this effect, and Atakan has been power crept to being unplayable. Right, we got above the big boys. While all these units have the same trait of being too costly, power crept effects, and overall just bricks in your hand, all of them could actually win you a game, if played properly. Except for number 1. Liam, give us a drum roll. In number 1 we have Gorlif the Unscalable. I hate that Gorlif isn't good. Formidable was such a cool concept that I wish was viable because even a 9-cost boss monster dies from Quietus, but that's not the reason why Gorlif is number 1. The reason why Gorlif just doesn't work is because of its effect. It's true that you could win the game by keeping your Nexus at 20 until round 9, or let me reword that. If you survive until round 9 with more than 15 health, have the attack token and defended Gorlif from spells, you can attack with 15 or more unblockable damage. Easy enough, right? But when you're healing your Nexus, you're losing tempo, and when you're losing tempo, you lose more Nexus health. So when Gorlif comes out on round 9, it's probably at most 9 health, which is good, you could swing for 9 damage, but since you were busy healing your own Nexus, you can't win the game with just 1 swing. And that's if your swing actually connects. Quietus kills it, it could be stunned, it loses power by being damaged, and it can be recalled. Also, good luck against spiders. While Gorlif's concept was really cool, it just doesn't work out at the end, and that's unfortunate because Gorlif actually meant a lot to the designer. And there you have it. Is there any card I missed? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, I'm Krin, don't do illegal, don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright, peace.